a ledge for this practice. So if you have access to yoga blocks, that's great. If not, if you have either a stool or a ledge that you can have kind of up around this height, I've got a little box to put my shoulders on. But if you don't have one, don't worry. There's alternatives that I can give you. Those of you that got a home yoga studio might be really eager to use all your equipment. But how are we all feeling? I hope we're all okay. I hope we're all ready for some self-love. Just to explain a little bit about what it is we're doing this evening. We're going to be taking a practice that really opens up through the chest and the shoulders. So the shoulders and the chest kind of move in those two extremes. So you've kind of got the rounding and the concaving of the chest, which is how a lot of us, myself included, live. And then you've of course got the overextension and the retraction of the shoulder blades at the back, which opens to the chest. Now it's interesting because in yoga, the glorified practice is the hip opening and the inner thigh stretch, but actually, really to get a really functionally useful practice. Really, it's a lot more useful to be mobile in the shoulders in everyday life. So we spoke last week when we did hips about how we store a lot of tension in this area, and yes, that tends to be daily tension, life tension and a stress, whereas the stress that we store in our shoulders, it tends to be more of a tension and a stress that we feel on a personal level, as it's closer to our heart, so it tends to be a little bit more personal. That being said, just know that it's fine if you experience any overwhelming sense of emotion in this practice. Equally, if you don't and you're just here to get in a nice stretch, it's going to tick that box for you as well. Are we ready to make a start? So I'd like you to come into a comfortable cross-leg position. If you're not comfortable with the legs crossed, you can take Baddhakasana, bound angle, or you can come onto the knees, so wherever you feel comfortable. And then we're going to take one hand to cover the heart and one hand to cover the belly. Making sure we're sitting up really tall through the spine, and we're feeling a sense of grounding through the sit bones. The sit bones are anchored into the floor. We'll take a slight touch to the chin to lengthen the back of the neck, and then I'd like you to close the eyes. Just take a moment to go within. The outside world doesn't matter right now. All that matters is you and your time for your practice. So start to notice the breath, noticing the pathway of the breath as it comes in through the nose, travels in through the back of the throat, down through the neck, and how it inflates the lungs and expands the belly. Just notice this journey that happens thousands of times every day. Connecting with something so simple, but so innately human, alive and pure. Being aware of the chest lift with each inhale, and it falling with each exhale. And then start to bring the hands to the knees, and then softly you can blink open the eyes. Take a deep breath in and reach both arms up overhead. And as you exhale, lean up and over to one side, bringing the forearm down. If both sit bones behind you. Exhale to come down. And then inhale to circle, open, up and back. Last time, coming forwards and down. Really opening through that shoulder. We circle. Inhale, reach up, lift out of the sit bones, out of the waist. And as we exhale, lean over to the other side. Either popping up onto the hand or maybe the forearm. This time we're going to move in an anti-clockwise circle. So taking an inhale to open the chest. See if you can gaze at that hand. And then exhale, coming down. And then inhale to open, sweeping backwards. Exhale down. Let's take one more of these, slow and steady. Inhale. And exhale. Take a deep breath in, reach both arms up. And then as you exhale, interlace the hands and place them behind the head. Open the elbows, squeezing the shoulder blades at the back. And we're just going to take small circles with the upper body. So circle in one direction and open and lift. And then circle the other way, rounding forward and down. And then opening and lifting up. Let's go one more each way. We're rounding, releasing, and then opening and squeezing up. Last time. And coming all the way up. Release the hands back down to the knees. And we're going to take a few cat-cow breaths with the spine, but this time we're going to stay seated. So take a deep breath in and lift your chest up. As if you've got a piece of string tied to your heart center and it's lifting you up and out. Lift you up, and then as you exhale, we're rounding. Come off the sit bones if you like, and really pull the back backwards. And again, inhale, lift the chest, heart growing up and forwards. And then exhale, rounding. Come off the sit bones, pushing back. Let's take just one more. Inhale, deep breath in. We lift. And then exhale, we round. Releasing back to sitting. We're going to come over onto our hands and knees into the 4-point position. And we're going to make sure the hands are spread wide and the knees are underneath the hips. And we're going to send the right leg back, lifting up to hip height. Taking the left hand, you're going to reach around behind and see if you can grab hold of the ankle. So holding in this position, we're going to see if we can kick into that hand, lift the chest and open the heart. So this is almost like a half bow. And we're going to hold here, shoulder blades squeezing, gazing forwards for 3 deep breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Deep breath in. And out. One more time, deep breath. Exhale, releasing that leg, releasing the arm down. We're going to switch over to the other side now. So sending the left leg back, lifting it to hip height. Take a bend to that knee. Taking the right hand, you're going to come around. See if you can grab hold of the ankle. If you can't hold on to it, just stay reaching. And we're going to kick up and into that hand, lifting the head slightly so we're gazing forwards. Opening through the chest. The back, we breathe for 3. Full breath. Just one more breath here, inhale. And then as we exhale, releasing that leg. Tucking the toes, we're going to come to standing, but you're going to come immediately into that forward fold. So we're not actually coming up to standing at all in today's practice. It's nice and gentle. We're going to stay in that bound. I'd just like you to come into your version of Uttanasana, standing forward fold. So hands might rest on the thighs, maybe the shins, maybe they're coming to the floor. I'd like you to feel your toes spread wide, and we're just really opening up through the backs of the legs here. Maybe you'd like to give those shoulders a roll. Just see how they're feeling, if there's any cracks, any creaks. perfectly normal. And then from here, I'd like you to see if you can bring the hands to a prayer on the base of the spine. So hands come to meet, base of the spine, and automatically feel how that just draws the shoulder blades together slightly. How that slight retraction of the shoulder blades might change the intensity of this forward fold for you, maybe increasing, feeling more of a weight of the body and less support from the hands. Either stay here, maybe you come back to use the hands on the floor, or we interlace the hands and see if the arms will travel in the direction of the floor. So we're feeling an opening through the shoulders here, an opening through the back and chest. We're going to hold here for just 3 breaths. So really surrender to the weight of the arms, the weight of the head. The breath fluid, the breath full. One more deep breath in. And as you exhale, release the hands, bringing them back to the floor if they're not there already. Step both legs back. We're going to come all the way down onto our front, onto the floor. So from here, we're going to bring the forearms down to the floor. We're coming into Sphinx pose. So bring the forearms down with the elbows tucked. And you want to feel a sense as if the hands are pulling the body along the floor, as if you're trying to grow forwards. There's a sense of the shoulder blades squeezing together and the heart growing forwards. Shoulders down. It's just a nice gentle back bend. Working through strengthening the shoulders to keep them in that retracted position. Heart lifted. And then from here, slowly we're going to release the body back down to the floor. You're going to take a bend to the right leg and you're going to reach behind with the hand, holding on to the ankle. So from here, you're going to kick into that hand and lift that arm and thigh off. So we're lifted through that side of the body. You can use your other hand to support you lifting the chest. So we're in a half bow here. And then placing that leg down, we're going to switch sides. So this hand comes down, other hand reaches behind. Feel that nice stretch through the quadricep and hip flexor. And we're going to kick into the hand, lifting through the chest. Just check in with how this back bend feels for your body. Lifted and open. And then releasing slowly down. So you can choose now, you can either take Sphinx again, you can take single leg bow pose, or we can come into full bow, bending both of the legs, flexing the feet if you can, and we're going to reach onto the ankles. Reaching for the ankles, we're going to kick into the hands and lift the chest away from the floor. You might have a slight rocking, massaging through the belly. You want to kick up into the hands. You're going to hold here for 3 natural breaths as they come to your body. One more deep breath here. And then we're going to release the legs, take the hands to the floor and push back to a child's pose. Toes together, knees wide, hips onto the heels. So a nice counter pose for the body, really relaxing the hips down towards the heels, dropping the forehead towards the floor. Gazing forward at the hands, bring the weight back into the hands, and we're going to come into a little bit more of to really, really open up through the chest. So we're going to come into puppy pose. Now, for puppy, we're going to bring the hands underneath the shoulders to start with. And I want you to walk the hands forwards. So padding the hands forwards. The hips stay over the hips. So, the hips stay over the knees, sorry. So, hips in line with the knees. And then we're going to just start to bring the chest and forehead towards the floor. Now you might get about halfway, feel a lot of restriction in the shoulders. I was with you a few months ago, I couldn't go much past here. And I just want you to play around with if you can take it any further. Maybe you're going to bring the forearms to the floor, maybe the chest, and maybe the head. In your version of this pose, making sure the hips are lifted and the chest is dropping down. So the goal is to allow the chest to ease and relax down to the mat. That's just the direction of travel, so don't worry if you're not there quite yet. We're working there as a work in progress. Feel a sense of the chest melting towards the floor, the armpits opening, backs of the arms lengthening, and shoulders rotating backwards. We'll hold for just 3 deep breaths. Starting to come up onto the hands. We're going to walk the hands back towards the legs and come into a child's pose. This time bring the knees close, arms down by the sides of the body. Maybe a gentle shift side to side. Taking as long as you need here, just to allow the body to counteract that powerful chest opener. And then bringing the hands underneath the shoulders, pushing the floor away. And we're going to come into praying mantis now. So this is quite an intense, again, another intense chest opener. If you have blocks, I'm going to suggest you use 2 blocks here to put the forearms on, the elbows on, sorry. If you haven't got a block or a stool or a ledge or anything, you're going to come onto the hands. I'd like all of you to try this to begin with. So we're going to bring the hands onto the floor, then we're going to bring the forearms onto the floor. And then I'd like you to bring the hands together in prayer. So you're gazing at your thumbs. And at the moment we should be lifted and long in the spine, but from here I'd like you to then just drop the chest and feel the shoulder blades, the scapula lift at the back. So the hips are lifted and stacked over the knees, but the chest is dropping in the direction towards the floor, a bit like with puppy, but the chest won't reach the floor in this position. And just feel the shoulder blades lifting and squeezing together, and then bring your back through to center. And once again, feel the chest drop and the shoulder blades lift and pull up and back. Now, if you have access to blocks, you're going to do the same with the hands on the blocks. I've got a little box that I'm going to use here, so I'm going to show you how it's similar. So you're going to put your elbows on your block, on your box, on your ledge, whatever you have access to. And then you're going to stay lifted through the hips, bring the hands through to prayer. And then you're going to tuck the head in between the arms and bring the hands to prayer on the back of the neck. So this is where you can kind of see how the name praying mantis comes into play for this posture. Now this posture is excellent for helping with posture, helping helping with our downward dog. This pose is essentially what you want your chest to be aiming towards when you're taking your downward dog and you're pushing your chest through your arms. So really feel a weight of the chest dropping down. We're going to stay here for quite some time. So really just find a biting point for your body in this posture. And by a biting point, I mean feel that you've taken it to a point where you feel a sense of tension is being released, but not to a point of searing pain. Now, it can be quite difficult to know the difference. But once you become in tune with your body, it's quite clear to feel that change between tension and searing pain and discomfort. Use the weight of your head to help you in this posture. And really we see here that with perseverance, with time, we start to feel the connective tissues opening, muscle fibers lengthening, joints opening and softening. If you've lost awareness in this posture, just be mindful of bringing your attention back. We're holding for just 3 more breaths. Slowly pushing into the elbows, lifting the head, lifting the hands, and slowly making your way into a child's pose of your choice. So I'd suggest taking the arms down by the sides and just taking a moment to rest in that counter pose, moving the body in the opposite direction. Not forcing, not straining, just allowing your body to rest. In the opposite direction, we're going to come into rabbit pose. So I'd like you to keep the legs quite close. We're going to hold on to the heels. We're going to put the crown of the head on the floor and lift the hips up. So the hips are lifted. We're holding on to the heels or the ankles, and we have the crown of the head on the floor. So really feel this moving the back and the shoulders in the opposite direction. Stretching through the upper back, opening through the shoulders. Slowly bringing the hips down to the heels, give them a moment to just roll through those shoulders. And we're going to come into our last posture for this evening that we're going to hold for quite some time. So come all the way over onto your front. We're going to come into starfish now. So this is another one to open through the front of the body. I'd like you to take your left arm out to the side. Make sure it's parallel with the shoulder, so it's not too far forwards and it's not too low down. And then using your right hand, you're going to push the right side of the body away from the floor. So already you might feel a nice opening through the side of the chest. If you can take it a little bit further, you're going to roll as much as you comfortably can maybe using your right foot to just prop you up and hold you in this position. So just take a few wiggles, maybe a few shifts forwards and around with that shoulder. Just little movements to really arrive in this pose. We're going to stay here for 3 minutes, which might sound like a long time, but really in these yin postures we need to spend a little bit more time to really delve into the connective tissues. So when we move quickly, we're moving through the superficial lining of the muscles, but this is targeting deep into our anatomy. So again, we're at our biting point. We're not at a point of pain, but we're at a point of removing tension. Maybe you start to feel the body open up a little bit more. Maybe you can take it further. Maybe you need to ease off. If you have the space to in your practice, maybe you're taking that right hand and taking it all the way behind the body, seeing if it will find the left. Maybe it won't. And you're going to interlace left and right hand. Now if your body doesn't have the space for that yet in your practice, you're going to leave it as it was. Make sure the head is resting down on the floor. We're not lifting or holding any strain or tension through the head. Really, this needs to be quite a passive posture. So we're not forcing or straining, holding or engaging. We're just allowing the body to give in, to release. Always bringing that focus back to the breath. Slowly releasing those hands if they're still holding. We're going to bring the right hand to the floor and really, really slowly, we're going to bring the body back through to the floor. Even slower than that. Take your time. Slide the left hand in so it comes under the shoulders and just roll through the shoulders. Let's repeat that on the other side. So we're going to send the right arm out this time, or whatever side you didn't just do, and make sure that arm is parallel with the shoulder, so it's not too far forward, it's not too far back. We're going to push into the left hand and just start to feel the body opening in this opposite direction. So this will probably feel quite stiff compared to your other side as we stayed there for quite some time. So just play around with those little movements that you can make. Maybe rotating the arm slightly, shifting it forwards, moving the shoulder blade in its socket, just checking in with how it's feeling. Make sure if we're moving over to that side, that left foot is there to support you. So we're popping that foot down just to be a base of support. Really simply just using the effects of gravity here to assist you in your posture. So not making anything happen that's not already there for you. The space, maybe we're taking that left arm and we're reaching the arm behind you. Maybe the hands interlace at the back and you feel the shoulder blades squeeze together. that left hand can stay resting on the floor or resting on the side of the body. Head is relaxed and down. Breath is deep and full. Just notice if there's any areas that you're still holding onto. In terms of tension, make sure the jaw is released. Make sure the neck is relaxed. Make sure the glutes aren't clenching. The toes are soft. And as we hold this pose for this time, notice how it starts to morph and mold. How we naturally start to respond to the shape of the posture, that we open and soften. Slowly we're going to unclasp the hands if they're together at the back. The left hand is slowly going to come back down to meet the floor, and slowly and smoothly we come back to our fronts, not rushing. And then slowly we're going to slide that hand in and just take some time to roll through the shoulders. Softening into the back. I'd like you to come into crocodiles. We're going to take the hands over each other and just drop the forehead down onto the hands. Feel the weight of the head. And then take the head over to one side, so we stretch through the neck in that rotation. We prepare the body for our relaxation, just making sure that we didn't strain the neck in any of our postures today. And switch sides. Just a gentle rotation through the neck. And then slowly, when you're ready, coming over onto your backs. Ready for Shavasana. So taking the legs along the mat, interlace the hands before we do so, and reach the arms up. So we've lifted the shoulder blades off the floor, and then we're going to reach the fingers away, so we're spreading the back wide on the floor, and then just allow the arms to drop. So the back is spread wide and the chest is open. Open and receiving. And as you lie here with the eyes closed, just notice how the breath feels in the body now. Now we've opened up through the heart, the lungs and the chest. Notice if the breath feels fuller, maybe deeper. Maybe you feel more of a connection to the breath, to your body. Just take a few moments for yourself now to be fully present grounded, safe and still. Start to bring some movement and awareness back to your fingers and toes, directing some energy there, maybe giving the fingers a wiggle, toes a wriggle. Maybe you want to roll your head from right to left, left to right. When you're ready, you're going to turn onto your right side. Resting in the fetal position just for a few moments as you prepare to bring the body out of this state of relaxation. And then slowly pushing yourself up into a seated position with me. Taking your hands through to prayer. I'd just like to finish with these words. So may you have love for the person you were. May you have love for the person you are. And love for the person that you grow to be. Om Shanti, Namaste. Namaste everybody, I hope you have enjoyed this practice with me this evening. Be kind to yourselves, be kind to your bodies, because we have done quite a lot of shifting